This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Hing.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
Throughout the nation and around the globe, from his heart to yours, it's Dearjames Live on the radio, here on the Contact Talk Radio Network, bringing you intuitive insight, answers, and advice to your life questions.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dearjames Live. Express yourself, tell it like it is, and then hear what Dearjames has to say. Today's topic is fight or flight. And as I do every Wednesday at 9, I take your calls live. This is an all-live call-in show. It's intuitive, clairvoyant, psychic readings. We want to have you tell it like it is and then hear what Dearjames has to say. The number to call in live is 877-230-3062. And I have the unbelievable happiness to be doing the show live from my second city, my second home, Paris, France. And I'm very, very excited to be back home here in Paris and just taking in the beauty of the French capital and the culture. It's just really amazing. I've always said, if you are having a bad day and you happen to be in France or in Paris, simply walk outside the door and the beauty that it surrounds you will just cure what ails you. So it's all about fight or flight. And I did this topic because so many times we are faced in life with the question of, do I stay or do I go? And that question runs from relationships, whether it be a love relationship, a friendship, a family matter, a family union. It applies to our careers, our jobs, our bosses, our pursuits, our desires. So many different things fall into this category of fight or flight. Even internal struggles where we sit with the question of, do we move forward? Do we stay where we are? Do we look to our inner selves to hear what we should do, and then will we follow through? So fight or flight is an incredibly important topic, and I'm very excited. I see that my first caller, Julianne from Idaho, is calling in, so I want to go directly to Julianne. Hello, Julianne. How are you?
I am well, James, and how are you?
I am very good, and I am so happy that you got my message and called in.
Oh my goodness, yes. It was just, there are no coincidences. It was a work.
It was destiny.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I want to tell you, before you launch into sharing just slightly a little bit of what's going on, Julianne actually wrote in on the Dearjames Facebook page. So for full disclosure, I do not know Julianne, but she wrote in on the Dearjames Facebook page and had submitted a question. And I actually reached out to her today and said, hey, by the way, I think your topic is right on point today. So if you happen to be able to call in on the live show, as you did, and then you're one of the first two callers, so you get a free 30-minute intuitive reading with me after the show. So I just wanted, thank you for calling in.
Oh, wonderful.
And B, so tell me what's going on. You had talked about taking the plunge in marriage and career.
Yes. I am very fervent about numerology. I am going into my ninth year. And so normally a ninth year will include many endings rather than beginnings. But what I'm seeing in my life is that, yes, faced with some endings, and yet I am really confused here because I have some beginnings which are being offered to me, and I'm just really, normally I have a very good insight, a gut feeling as to which way to go. I truly trust my intuition, but here I am completely drawing a blank. And so my question being, in my current relationship, which has been ongoing for a year, the question of marriage has come up three different times. Three times I have really not fully answered a yes or no, because I do have hesitations. And being psychic, I'm sure that you're feeling exactly what those hesitations are right now with my job situation as well. Oh, yes, everything's going crazy right now. I'm feeling that there needs to be an ending and a new start. I have just amazingly 3 interviews in this week, which are for new jobs, beginning job-wise. So can you please give me some insight? Again, with my job interviews, I'm drawing a complete blank. So I don't know if which is the best road to go. My relationship, of course, first, and my job second.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do something a little bit different with you, Julianne, because as I said to you in the when I messaged you on Facebook, that I was writing your reply, and so I'm going to read part of the reply that I wrote just before the show started. So you'll see it published in totality, but then I'm going to live read, if you will. But I want to give you a flavor of. I said, something tells me you already know the answers to your questions. You're more simply looking for affirmation of your decisions. As challenging as change may be, it is constant and inevitable. Our daily lives are full of change. We simply don't give it the same conscious awareness and deference as we do the big changes in life. Marriage is a daily life choice and commitment once it has been made. It doesn't start at the proposal and end at the beautiful reception dinner. Sensing your deliberation and hesitation, you may be better advised to take a step back and ask yourself, is this really the person for me, or is he more simply the person I have spent these past few years with? Knowing that you are worthy of what you truly desire and are willing to open that space within your life for it to come in is a far richer reward and experience than walking down a familiar aisle only to discern later that you are displeased with its final destination. So that has to do with your relationship. And as you can discern from that, your hesitation, your ongoing hesitation to commit speaks volumes. And it's because your soul is really saying to you, let me put it this way. This man is a very kind man, a very generous man. He has all the earmarks and the hallmarks and all of that of what you have been looking for, if you will, but there's something missing. And you have questioned whether what's missing is silly, if you will, or if it's what will it really come about? Am I being the fool here? Am I looking the gift horse in the mouth, basically?
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
Right. And yet, there's this constant nudge, this constant pang. Because when the topic comes up, the color drains out of you. I literally see your insides just go, ugh, and they drain out of you. And all of a sudden this panic and this fear comes up in you. And you begin to do what I call the dance, the talking around it, the talking at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Because ultimately, this just isn't the right. It's not the right fit. It's not the complete and total fit.
Correct.
And if you make room for that, and it's, as you've said, it's your 9 year, 9 years are all about completions. They are all about, the endings, the wrapping ups, so that when you begin your 1 year, it's all commencing newness. It's all things that are coming to you that you begin anew. You begin fresh. And, it's always easier to get into a relationship than it is to end one. It's just the way it goes.
I really do not like to hurt people. And at the same time, I realize in some way, shape, or form that this man is my soulmate. But I also realize that doesn't make him my true love. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, when you use the word soulmate, I was going to say to you, he's your true friend mate. This is a very, the word that they're giving me is it's a very platonic relationship. It has more hallmarks of being a very deep platonic relationship than it does an impassioned or passioned marriage.
Yes.
And thereby you're meant to have it all. So, Julianne, you're meant to have it all. You're meant to have exactly what you asked for. And what they're saying to me is they know exactly what you've asked for. And what they're saying, and hear this the right way because it has no markings to this gentleman, but you settled.
Yes. Oh, my goodness.
And
there is not a more
settled.
Perfect word.
Right.
Yes.
And thereby there's no opportunity or room for that which you asked to come into your life because you're occupying that space. You've filled that space with having settled.
Oh my goodness. This is so true. So true. Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
So this is where we're, in this fight or flight, and flight, today's topic, fight or flight, and, flight does not mean run away from. It doesn't mean abandon or run away from. But, the flight of the issue is, do we face what's going on in order to move ourselves forward, to propel ourselves forward? And that's, because otherwise sometimes we stay and fight against ourselves. Here's this internal struggle of a belief, a desire to have what you truly want, and this quandary of, am I asking for too much? Am I being greedy? Am I looking the gift horse in the mouth?
Yes. And I've always felt that.
Right. And so that's what's taking place here on the love front. And I would say to you, while it may be painful, because this person, this gentleman that you're currently with, after, a breath, if you will, a beat, a breath, he will have the wherewithal and the grace to. He knows that this is coming, is what they're saying. He's known for some time, and so there has to be a moment where you both, have that adjustment period, that mourning period, if you will, and then this friend mate, this really amazing soul friend mate, will come back around is a way to put it. You follow me?
So you are saying that, yes, this really does need to be addressed, and I know in my heart it does. Yes, you're exactly correct. I understand what you're saying about settling. Come back around, I'm not sure I understand what you mean, because I don't know if I guess I don't really have enough self-confidence to believe that there really is that person that exists in this lifetime that I really, truly will feel loved and be able to share my life with from this point on. So are you telling me...
Yes. Wipe that belief and thought and feeling from your being. Wipe it out. Literally see it. See when we used to do laundry on the line and everything, you'd walk out and you'd see the women or the men twisting the towel, and all the water would disperse, be drained out from it, so you could put it on the line.
Yes.
Imagine that's the statement and the thought and the belief and the feeling that you've just had, and you're wringing it out. You're draining it of its value.
Okay.
And then hang it on the line. Hang it on the line, because there's nothing better than a piece of clothing that smells like fresh air from a fresh line dry, if you will. Yeah. Because it's destiny. What we're talking about with you, Julianne, is there's destiny here. Destiny is playing out. And so it's as if the universe was saying to you, and you brought this, so you've created this. It was a test for you to say, am I really worth going after? Is what I truly know in my heart and soul and what I desire, am I willing to go after that? And it takes great courage, great faith, great belief that it will happen. And they're showing me in my head, I'm seeing a stoplight and I'm seeing a flashing yellow light. And what they're saying to me in conjunction with that flashing yellow light is, you've been sitting in pause. If you were to marry this man, that light would change to red. Everything would stop. The dream stops. Everything stops. But you're holding in the center this flashing yellow. And if you free yourself, your beliefs, your space for that which you truly desire, what you said you really wanted in this lifetime, then the light's going to go to green and it's all going to open up, because you've now made the space and the commitment. You've signaled to the universe, I am ready for this. I do desire this, and it will happen. So you have to wring out the fear, wring that out, and hang it on the line to dry. You don't want that in your mindset.
I understand completely what you're saying, and I honestly, in my heart of hearts, have deeply hoped that at some point in time, I truly could find the person that I can picture life being absolutely wonderful with. You're absolutely correct. I have been settling. I do need to finish this. I don't like hurting people. That is the worst thing in the world for me. But I also understand that if I don't, then I am actually keeping him in limbo from finding happiness as well. And so it really is a two-way street for both of us. It would be wrong for me to continue to give him hope when I really don't have any for the relationship.
Right, exactly. And I just to say on this front, and then we'll move to the career portion. But the other thing too is that literally, what I'm getting is the man that you're meant to be with, the man that you're meant to marry, is what they're saying, will literally find you, will literally bump into you. So you just have to know it's going to happen, and you leave the rest of the mystery up to the universe, and you go about embracing that you've made the space and you've made the commitment and you've rang out the beliefs that don't serve you, and you put them out to dry, and you go about living. You go about your new beginnings. And somewhere with that belief, it'll just happen. It's going to go boom. It's going to be, I'm getting certain things. They're telling me certain things, but I don't want to give away all the mystery. So
Oh, please, please.
he'll literally just go. What they're saying is go about living. Go about really embracing and living with your just that concrete, firm belief that he's going to bump into you, that he's going to find you. And just put it out of your mind, like live. What they're saying is that you've got a green light now. Live.
Focus.
Move all these things into action. So okay. I want to go then back to your career question as well, because you. So I'm going to go back to reading and then what I wrote, and then I'll go to the live part. I said, likewise, knowing when it's time to change jobs, careers, or places of employment, hinge on listening to and trusting your inner guidance system. Gone are the days where 50-plus years of service are rewarded, let alone 1 or 2. Just as the autumn leaves change the scenic backdrop of our surroundings, so too would a change of scenery on the work front do you well. Too much time spent in any one modality without proper growth, excitement, and expansion stifles the soul. Yeah. It renders oneself unconscious, and that is no state from which to live and experience life.
Yes.
You've been aching for some time now to truly follow your passions, to give yourself permission to venture beyond what you do, to do that which you really, truly love.
Yes.
All in all, this is a time of change and transition for you. It's a time to propel yourself forward, far from the masks and identities you currently put forth. Go forth with confidence, knowing change is your liberator, not your captor. To be or not to be sums up your current set of circumstances and thus your choices. So, again, change is inevitable. Change is here for you. And you are meant to, and I want to give you a little bit of caution on do the interviews. But I would say to you, really, here's what I'm getting from these 3 interviews is what I'm getting is that they're more of the same in a different way.
Yes, they are.
And thereby, I'm sorry?
You knew there were 3. 3 interviews. Actually, you said that in the beginning. So, no, I didn't catch that. But what I was feeling when I was writing this was that you were absolutely meant to change. But what I'm cautioning you on these 3 interviews is that they're more of the same. And you're meant, just like the man, the career, what you do in life, you're meant to really seek out and do and follow your passions. You're meant to engage them so that it's no longer a job, it's a joy. There's a difference. Yes, there is.
You see and so you're meant to find the joy in this. So go, you never know who you might meet at an interview, and you never know what might spur something. So definitely go on the interviews. But I would say to you, look inside. I'm getting that you're not yet allowing yourself the permission to go do what you really want to do, what you really love.
Yeah.
Again, you think it's maybe silly or.
Well, it is my self conscious. It's a matter of do I deserve this? Am I worthy of this? I truly have these issues, and so yes, I'm very hesitant to do this. I mean, I know there are things that I would love to do, but I'm just not exactly sure how to pinpoint what that is and how to seek it. I mean, I love working with people, serving people, and of course I'm a 9 life path, so that is exactly what I go for. But I just don't know what other realm is available for me, if that makes sense. Yes, my years of 30 plus have been in service to people, but I just don't know how to find that little niche.
Well, what I'm getting very strongly is, and the overlaying point here, the tie-in here is you must fight for your passions. Every soul makes a contract before we ever come. We make the contract. This is who I want. These are the experiences I want to have. These are the things I'm going to overcome. And one of yours is all about permission, being worthy and giving yourself permission.
Yes.
To have this. And your destiny, your true destiny, is to have these things. And I would say to you, if you're really quiet with yourself, you know exactly what you want to do. You've just talked yourself out of it each time it came along. It's silly. I can't make a living doing that. It won't. I don't know. Well, what will everybody think and say? Blah, 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 blah. You've talked at it and around it, and, you've done the dance. They're showing me you dancing around the bush.
Yes, I'm a Cancer, so I definitely do that. I run in for the charge, and then I run back and hide. Yes, and it is a matter of self-confidence. So and this is so wonderful that you're saying this. It is all so true, and it has been going on for years, literally years. I stay where it's safe, if that makes sense, because I'm really scared to. It is the what ifs. What if this doesn't? And I've never really allowed myself to go back to the mindset of a child where it's not what will go wrong, but hey, why not? Or what could go right? Because, conditioning through society and different life experiences can do that to many of us. And we forget
Absolutely.
that the magic is there.
Well, the statement that just came to me is life is not a dress rehearsal. So take this opportunity and this time, because as you said in your email to me, nothing's by coincidence. And this is your affirmation. And again, they're showing me the flashing, it's the hanging street sign, and it's a flashing yellow light. And they're saying, do you want it to turn green, or do you want it to turn red? Because you're the only one that can make that choice. And while change can be scary, it doesn't mean that the end result won't be phenomenal. And, I sat in a similar position to you in deciding whether to bring the gift and Dearjames and everything to the full, forefront, if you will. And there are often times where I sit today and say, what took you so long? Because the gift is phenomenal. And the journey, of course it was scary, and of course there's all these things, but once you make that commitment, once you say, yes, I'm going to do this, and it's right, you feel it, it's right, it is like all the doors and the windows and the green lights, they all just open and everything happens because it's what's meant to be. It's what you signed up for.
The universe.
So,
okay.
Yeah, the universe provides. And they provide whether it's, is it more of hiding and being afraid and, well, they're going to give you more of that. But your soul sitting there knocking in the back going, hey, remember the commitment? Remember the contract?
Yeah.
Remember what we're supposed to transcend? That's the whole point. That's what they're saying to you.
Okay. This is a wonderful day. This is easily the most incredible day of my life, aside from the day that my son was born. And I cannot thank you enough for your verification. Everything that I have been feeling, pondering, avoiding, yes. I really needed that, that go ahead that you've given me this morning, because I Yes, I've stood in fear for many years, and I'm just, oh my gosh, like a racehorse, just waiting for that gate to go down. So I just thank you so much, because you have just verified everything that I needed, my soul needed to know today. Very much so. I thank you so much, so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that, Julianne. And the universe says choose the green lights. So, so we'll talk more in your private consultation. I will follow up with you after I know Barb has already gotten all your information, so I will follow up with you, and we'll set up an appointment and everything to give you some more information from the universe. But I keep seeing that they want you to choose the green lights, so I hope you do that. And I thank you so much for having the courage to call in live today.
Oh, thank you so much, James. You are an absolutely amazing soul, and I thank you so much for bringing your gift to all of us. And honestly, the day that I commented to you, it was so true. There are no coincidences.
That's an amazing gift. So I'm so excited. Thank you, and I will be in touch.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, many blessings. Bye-bye. You're listening to Dear James Live. Express yourself. Fight or flight. Tell it like it is, and then hear what Dear James has to say. The phone lines are open. The phone number to call in is 877-230-3062. I always say don't wait till the last minute to call in, because there won't be enough time. But we're going to go to a quick station break, and we'll be back after this.
The desire to be more consciously enlightened is innate. Do you feel there's more to life? If so, find the resource that's right for you by going to dearjames.com/resources. You are the reality you create. Make it a great one. When you ask a question, the universe hears you, and in a multitude of ways, they seek to communicate with you to provide the intuitive insight, answers, and advice you seek. From serious to silly, monumental to mundane, there's nothing the universe can't cover. Maybe the insight you receive is exactly the affirmation you were looking for. Then again, it may just give you a whole new perspective on things. And that's the beauty of the universe. Submit your question to Dear James at dearjames.com and click Ask.
The gift of giving is immeasurable. Give of your time, talent, resources, and money. Give not only because you can, but because by doing so, it is already coming back to you. As a people, we are only as strong as the least among us. Together, we harness the power of the collective whole and see through our deeds the power of miracles, both large and small. Find the charity that's right for you by visiting www.dearjames.com and click on Charitable Giving. One person or kind act really does make the difference. Available for private, individual, group, and corporate consultations, Dear James will provide you with the intuitive insight, answers, and advice to your life questions. Schedule your consultation by going to www.dearjames.com and click on Consultation.
When you ask a question, the universe hears you, and in a multitude of ways, they communicate to you the intuitive insight, answers, and advice you seek. Ask Dear James a question and experience the magic of the universe. Visit dearjames.com and click Ask.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dearjames Live. Express yourself. Tell it like it is, and then hear what Dearjames has to say. Today is Fight or Flight, and I want to go immediately to my next caller, Jan from Cleveland. Hello, Jan.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Pleasure to get to talk to you.
Yay! Likewise. Well, what's happening? Fight or flight? What's going on?
Well, I feel like I didn't hear all of the conversation that you had with the last caller, but it sounded very similar to me. And so I'm just wondering, I can give you backstory, but I kind of feel like I'm in the same place where there's a lot of, I feel like things are opening up to change, and I want to step in the direction of that green light you were talking about. So I just wondered if you could tell me anything about that.
All right. Well, one of the things that I'm as you were speaking, I'm downloading, so to speak, and I was getting that you're in kind of a sense of emotional turmoil, and I'm seeing a male figure that is holding you back. Is that? Yeah. So I get, yeah, you're like, yeah. The funny thing is oftentimes it's always fear that plays at the heart of every change, every nexus, if you will. And, the fight or flight. And there's been, I think you've had a lot of times where you've been saying, the song, should I stay or should I go? And it feels like what I'm sensing is that you've given a lot, and there's not that there's anybody that's a bad person in this. Again, I'm not getting anything that's like, he's horrible or anything like that, but I'm getting that he holds you back, and it's almost in a literal and figurative way. It's as if his fear of you succeeding causes him to blanket you, to just smother you, hold you, and hold you in place. Is that resonating with you?
Well, yes. It's not just one person; it's a family, and I also feel that more importantly than the literal situation, is that I allow that to not move forward. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that's the emotional turmoil.
That I listen to that conversation, and that's the discomfort. Because I truly believe that aside from, contracts, soul contracts and stuff like that, there's an opportunity to make anything the best of your possibility, and I feel like I hold myself back by believing that blanket, and my turmoil is me holding myself back, and then, I'm disappointed in myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Well, because I'm getting very strongly, and they're like, interrupt her. And I'm like, okay. Sometimes they get a little they get a little forceful. They're saying to me very strongly and very clearly that you are breaking a promise, that you made a promise kind of like to yourself and God and universe. You made a promise, and you're breaking that promise.
Okay. Any suggestions how I might?
Well, in other words, you kind of, how do I say this? You kind of, what I'm getting is that you said to them, okay, I'm only going to be this person for this long. You did things out of obligation.
Right.
You did things, and you're breaking the terms of that promise. You're breaking the term limits, is what they're saying.
Okay.
And so they're not happy. Because what they want you to see, Jan, is that when we break the promises, And I'll give you an example here. I made a promise to the universe, to God and the universe, that when I bought my first home, that I would only keep it for 2 to 3 years if they let me buy it. And literally it was, I talk about like a house of cards. Like there should have been no way that I was able to buy this home. And literally by hook and crook, I bought this home. The universe bought this home. And it came about. 2.5 years later, I was to move to Paris, to come here and begin my life in Paris. And I said, oh, no. I'm just gonna, I'll just go back and forth. And literally I was presented with, but you made a promise. And it was someone that is one of my amazing colleagues and friends that is a fellow intuitive and clairvoyant. And without her ever knowing, she couldn't have known. I had told no one about this promise.
Right.
She looked at me and said, oh, you think you're going to live in this lovely home in the Hollywood Hills and break your promise.
Wow.
And you can imagine, I sat back and I the air went in and I was like, and that was my immediate movement of, I had made a promise and I made it to God and the universe. They delivered, and now it was my turn to deliver.
Right.
And so they're giving me this analogy to say to you, you made a promise to only be this person, and they're using air quotes, this person. It's a departure. They're saying that the person that you are right now is a complete and total departure from who you really are.
Yeah, I can see that.
And thereby,
you... Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So my question
question
is, if I have no idea what that's supposed to look like, does that mean I have to? Okay, so I know that metaphorically it means changing everything to become what I know that I need to become. I mean, I feel it viscerally, practically.
Right.
How do I?
Answer your question?
Yeah.
Right. To answer your question, you know exactly what it's not. Yeah. That's half the battle. That's more than half the battle. More than half the battle is the conscious acknowledgement and awareness that you made this promise, that you're not who you said you would, that the term limits, or you've exceeded the term limits. And you know that being this current incarnation of yourself is not your true identity. And so right off the bat, you understand what it's not, what you're not meant to be.
Right.
So that helps you pivot, because each time you then quiet yourself and listen to what you're meant to be, if it remotely pangs to, that's the old me, the current me,
Right.
You're going to know it's the wrong choice.
Right.
They're saying to me that, yes, go ahead.
I want to dig a little deeper if I could. So
Absolutely.
when feeling into or leaning into, trusting that gut conversation and the fear, the old conversations come in. Like, for example, I'm going to be evaluated today for something that's really important to me. And on a big level, it doesn't matter to me if I pass someone else's expectations, but it doesn't change the fact that I still feel nervous. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so how can I begin to know the difference between fear that, maybe not fear, that anxiety or whatever, that niggly feeling that's either telling me something that needs to shift or pivot, like you mentioned, or if it's just old conversation.
Well, in the example that you just provided, you said something that's very important, which is, on a broader level, I know it doesn't matter. It doesn't have a place of reference, if you will. And yet, the life you're living and leading, you've placed yourself in a position where that does matter.
Yeah.
It's important. This judgment of another is important to me.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be there. They're literally saying everything that you have kind of cocooned yourself in or wrapped yourself in is this, I'm going to give it to you the way I get it, tell it like it is.
Okay.
This fraudulent identity that you were allowed, because you made the promise, you were allowed to live for X amount of period of time. And now they're saying, time's up. Game over. Move yourself into what you're meant to do, your true identity, or we are going to help move you. And I call that the 2x4. That's the universe 2x4. You don't want that one. You don't. Rest assured, you don't want that one. I think I had that one once, and I was like, "Ooh, I don't like that."
Well, actually, it's crazy that not crazy. It's interesting that you said promise, because a few years ago I was going through some diagnostic process for cancer, and as I was going into it, and that was. I get what you're saying. It makes such sense, because I said, listen, I'll go through whatever I need to go through. Just please be with me. Help me live every day better. Let me make every moment count. And if there's something you want me to do while I'm here, if you could let me know what that is, that would be great, because I'm not sure, So,
and you,
yeah,
and they did exactly. And that's the point. That's why this has such a the intensity by which they're, and this is very interesting for me, because their intensity is it's not judgmental, but it's very powerful. They're really saying, she spoke, we listened, we delivered. Now it's her turn.
Now it's my turn. Okay.
And that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, because really, when you look at what you asked for life.
Yeah.
On its greatest platform, you asked for life, and they delivered it. And now you're not truly living. And
sorry.
And,
can I bring my family with me on that journey?
Well, to the extent that is their journey, it will organically and naturally happen. But you can't substitute. You can't go back and rebarter.
Yeah.
She's cute. She's clever. They're like, oh, really? She wants to go back and renegotiate now that we've got the 2x4 out? Really?
But it's
They're
really
just
neat
laughing
stepping
and
into.
smiling.
But I want to be clear. It's saying that my responsibility is to step fully into that person that I really am.
Absolutely.
Period.
You are meant to live. And by living, it means shedding the cloak that you wrapped yourself in during this process, during this time. It's as if you've become the cloak. And that wasn't the agreement. That wasn't the promise. You said, I'll do whatever you want for just get me through this. And then I'll do what you want. And that's what they did. So
I can't help but ask this question. So is that shedding of the cloak, is that about my illness and shedding that identity of being
all of
not all of
Amen.
it? Okay.
Yes, all of it. Leave it at the curb. You are not that person. You are not that victim. You are not that identity anymore. Game over.
Okay.
It's over. It doesn't walk with you any longer. Because you are meant to shed it.
Right.
You were meant to transcend it.
Right.
And that's why they're reminding you of this promise. They're saying, hey, this was sacred. This is a sacred promise. And it was a sacred promise because you had a choice.
Yeah.
You had a choice
Wow.
at that point of which way to go. And you chose to make
Right.
the promise and to live. And so now they're saying, okay, so now it's not okay to just exist or to be cloaked in this identity. It's over.
Got it.
Because that's what you're meant to live, period. And thereby,
Got it.
whatever journey your family members, as soul groups, we all, there's all painful times. I mean, in April, I lost my father. This is the first time I've gone abroad, leaving my mother. And it's one of those things where we each grow. It's painful. It is challenging, because you never, it's your family. And you want everybody to have happiness and joy, but we also have to do we have to do things in life as well so that we also don't enable. You don't want to be enabled or be an enabler.
Right.
So, you see, in terms of does the family come along or not come along and all of that, that will be again organic. You'll know if you're dragging or pulling somebody along. You'll know
Right.
in reverse if someone is, as I said in the beginning, if somebody is kind of holding you down, this male figure that's suppressing, you can't do that. That it's over. That identity is over.
Right.
So all you have to do is say, they're literally kind of saying, lift thine eyes to the heavens and ask, what do you want me to do? And then silently listen. And the answers will come fast, furious. They will come very, very, they're going to come at you because they're delivering, they're showing me that your life was when I say cut in half, it was two halves. And the purpose of you experiencing what you experienced was to choose which of the two halves will I live, will I lead? And
Right.
you chose the life half.
Right.
Because your experience could have been all about dying and these types of things, but it's not. It's about life. And so now they're going to deliver to you all about living, about just rich living. But you have to show up and you have to participate. So,
Or
and
get
let
a
me say,
2x4.
because we're down to the right. So we're down to the last 2 minutes, and so we're going to have our follow up. You get a free 30-minute consultation with me. So we're going to talk lots more when I reach out to you after this, and give you some more help and direction. And
Thank you so much.
Definitely drop the cloak.
Okay.
All right.
How did you say
All
that?
right.
Lift
Thank
what
you.
to the nine?
I'm sorry.
Lift what to the nine?
What to the
Hello?
nines? Oh,
You said
yeah, to
you
live
said
to the nine. Yeah, you're going to live to the nines. You're going to live.
Awesome.
You're going to live. So,
All right, awesome.
so I'll be
Thank
back.
you.
I'll be back in touch with you after the show. Thanks so much, Jan, for calling in. You've been listening to Dearjames Live. Express yourself, tell it like it is, and then hear what Dearjames has to say. It's all about, and today was fight or flight, and I just want to give you some very quick tips. I'm down to the last minute. So the true test is to listen and be guided. Face your fears. It's all about blind faith. Trust in the unknown, and be fluid, not fixed. Again, you've been listening to Dearjames Live. As I always say, no matter where you are, or whom you're with, or what you're doing, wrap yourself in goodness. I will be back next week with a repeat show, and on the 15th, I'll be with you for another Express Yourself. Call in live.
You've been listening to Dear James Live on the radio with your host, Dear James. Gain intuitive insight, answers, and advice to your life questions and so much more by tuning in next week and visiting DearJames.com.